Well, hello everybody and welcome to another round of the ORL Tier 2 Championship, and today we are at the Autódromo Hermanos Rodriguez, home of the Mexican Grand Prix. Of course, we are going to be starting with the practice session, and as it's going to be my first time, we are going to introduce to the commentary booth our good friend and colleague Maku. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing quite fine today. Yeah, and I'm quite excited for the race. The drivers are already doing their practice laps, testing their tires, and yeah.
Yeah, it should be an interesting one. I apologize to the stream. I'm just setting up everything on my second monitor. And okay, we are good to... God damn it. We were good to go if my mouse collaborated with me. And yeah, we are alright. Okay, so what is your opinion on this track to start with?
Well, I have to say, I think I've never driven Mexico myself in F1, of course. But it is a quite interesting track because of the two DRS zones. Which is obviously one of the best spots to overtake. But also the rest of the corners, especially the chicane. I think it's corner 15, 14, 13. Is very interesting because there's sometimes going a lot of action on, especially in the last laps, if you have a battle for one of the higher places. Yeah.
Yeah, well, one thing that I would add to that is that it's going to be a quite interesting battle, especially as we already have people starting their laps in practice, and you can see some of them are on the hard, some of them are on the mediums. This could be a little bit of mind games going on, because there's certainly two distinct strategies. Those who try to do the qualifying in the top 10 and start on softs and then go to the hard. Then go to the yards at about lap 10 to take them to the end, but there's obviously those who prefer to pit a little bit earlier, not let the soft tires fall off as aggressively, but then go on two stints on the medium tires. Of course, they take the time for the extra stop, but of course the freshness of the tires might allow the drivers to nullify the time they lose by changing the tires once more than their rivals. So it's certainly going to be interesting, especially as this is a track where the tire temperatures do matter quite a bit. The skies are clear at the moment, so the drivers need to take care of that, especially if it's also the same weather for qualifying and the race, since the very fast middle sector, a lot of twistiness in that one, and we do have the tires taking a lot of impact through those fast corners, and then the big braking zones at the end of the two main DRS straights are surely going to put the drivers to the test. So in the meantime, we've had one driver going off the circuit. That's Emilio Sachs, as the Alfa Romeo driver got himself out of the circuit on the approach to that little sequence of 4, 5, and 6. But he's finally back to the track, but he's certainly going to need to replace his front wing because he is currently with heavy damage on that right side, so he's certainly going to the pits. Malu, anything that has come up to your eyes at the moment? Anything that is worthy pointing out?
No, not really. I just see here a really nice thing about Mealy, who's making place for the other drivers, so they can make their times, they can make their testing. I think he's doing an in-lap because he's making a lot of space for the other drivers. But I think that's something that you want to see, especially in practice, that the drivers respect each other, and that's, I think, a very important matter of sport. That there should always be a certain respect for each other, and I think that's something that sometimes gets forgotten a little bit.
Yeah, it sometimes does in the heat of the moment. Of course, things are still quite casual, I would say. It's still only the practice session, and the drivers really do not want to step on each other's toes, because they need to get not only the qualifying practice if they want, but they also need to get those long runs to make sure they understand these Pirellis. Speaking of them, it's good. Sorry. I apologize for that. But speaking of the tires, it's going to be the C4 compound, the softest one, marked in red, the C3 in yellow, and the C2s marked on white as the hard tires. So it's going to be interesting to see what the drivers pick, of course, during qualifying, and then in terms of the strategy, as we've already mentioned. In the meantime, we have Birkov, who's coming to the end of his lap. His best time so far is a 131.6, and he improves massively as he brings himself up to P3 with a 118.6 mile.
Yeah. But I don't think that Mealy and Iceman. I think that that was a really quick time from Birkov. But I don't think that Iceman and Mealy were driving for the fastest time they could make. And I think that was kind of Birkov's qualifying test with the mediums for his strategy in the race later on. And yeah, I think we'll see also then from the grid position, from 11th grid positions down, a lot of people doing the reverse strategy, that they will start on hard and then in the end change to soft tires.
Yeah, exactly. That's going to be interesting to see. They might do, as you said, they might do that reverse strategy and just try to make use of the best tire when the car is the lightest on fuel. Of course, we don't know about the climate conditions at the moment. It might as well rain. It's not unseen, as Birkov has dropped out of the session. Maybe the game crashed on him or something like that. But yeah, it's certainly a possibility that it rains during qualifying or maybe even the race to spice things up. Oh, as we have South there in the Renault getting very wide coming out of turn number 1, not exactly nailing the transition there, and is going to get his lap nullified. He's certainly going to have to try once again. Another driver we have is Barney, who is on a flying lap of his own at the moment on brand new mediums, and we're going to see what he does. It looks like he's pushing quite hard, so I'm guessing this is some sort of a simulation of qualifying for him. So low fuel, I guess, in the Red Bull as he propels himself down the second sector. He's closing on the end of it, and the game isn't actually telling me what time it is once he ends the sector there, because there might be something wrong with the lobby itself, because we are migrating the host. I'm not sure if we are going to have to restart the lobby or not.
I think so, but I'm not sure. I think it's because of Steam. Because I disconnected too from the lobby.
Oh, so maybe, yeah, there is a possibility, especially as Emilio Sassi is the host of the lobby, right? I think he was, and he's still on an outlap. His car isn't ghosted, so I'm not exactly sure why the host is migrating, because he wasn't the one dropping out of the session. But yeah, maybe it's Steam having some issues at the moment.
Hey guys, it's me just hopping in. I think Steam indeed has some problems because I got locked off Steam for some reason.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, we are going to... I don't know if I can send an invite. I'm going to try to send invites.
I think you can.
But if you guys need, so...
Yeah, let's look if Steam can fix it, and if not, then I'll think we have to do the race another time.
Yeah, I invited Black Panther. I didn't find you in the list, I didn't find
Maku.
you. Yeah, it's Maku. For some reason...
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm
Oh, I found you. I invited you.
Or not.
For me, you are online. Yes, I invited you. I think you are online. Black. No, you are not online, but I invited you nonetheless. Once you get in,
Right,
you
I'm
get
back
the
off.
invitation.
See you guys later.
Yeah, see you in a bit. But yeah, rather weird circumstances at the moment. I don't think any lap times are being recorded. Yeah, the lap times, the server, so to speak, is not... Oh, finally it got a grip of itself. Pole position has also left the session. He dropped out. Matthew also dropped out. So all those drivers, I'm going to try to get them invited while practice is going on. So it's Eagle. Eagle, I'm going to invite him. I can't invite him. Okay, I can't invite him for some reason. But yeah, I'm going to try... Yeah, I don't have the option to invite these guys on, which is unfortunate. But yeah, a lot of people dropping out. Hopefully they can join through me or through Emilio, because I think Emilio didn't drop out. So yeah, I don't think we're going to start the lobby either. It's just a massive mess at the moment, and the game only now is starting to register the lap times again. Maku, are you back in the lobby?
No, I'm sorry, I'm not.
Okay, did you get my invite?
No, that's the problem. I just tried restarting Steam and I'll look if the chat connection is up again.
Yeah, everything is fine on my end at least. I'm sorry about the game. Yeah, Steam is down.
Yeah.
Yeah, Steam is down. Um, Steam is down, but I managed to hold on to it. I don't know if people could try to rejoin through me, but yeah, at least on that department, I'm fine so far. Um, okay, I just went to the group chat and posted there for them to try to get in through me. But yeah, Jake Shadow, who's racing in the Tier 1 or Tier A, is also having issues with his lobby, but it's quite a shame. But at the moment, we have Speed Booster with a 1:15.7 on the softs, just blitzing the previous best lap time that was set by the Belgium in the Williams Black Panther. But Speed Booster, the championship leader, is showing why he is on top of the standings. 1:15.7 for the Renault driver as he takes himself the top spot. Maku, are you back in?
No, I'm sorry, I'm not. And I think R7 just wrote we're restarting lobby, but I don't know if it's split A or split B.
Where did he type that?
In the general chat on Discord.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I lost connection to Steam now.
Yeah.
Okay guys, so we're going for an intermission. I'm going to let you with some tunes and getting while we sort everything out. So yeah, just be patient. I'm going to give you guys some more information once we get back into it. Hope to see you guys in just a second. That was the wrong video. There you have it. And yeah, we'll see you guys in a moment. Good evening and welcome everyone to another round of the Online Racing League F1 2019 Tier 2 Championship, and today we are coming to round number 18, the Mexican Grand Prix and the Autódromo Hermanos Rodriguez, just 2,240 meters above sea level. We have 17 corners separated by very fast sections, especially the run down into turn 1 and into turn 3. And the entire sector 2, despite twisty, is very fast as well. 17 turns once again going to be replicated 36 times this afternoon as the drivers navigate the 4.3 kilometer circuit this afternoon, trying to get on the top spot. In terms of the tires, the Pirellis available today are going to be the C4s as the softs, the C3s for the mediums, and the C2s as the hard compounds. In terms of the championship, we have Speed Booster in the lead, the only driver so far to breach the 200 point mark, as he leads, as Iceman comes in P2 in the best of the McLarens, just 6 points ahead of Black Panther, as the Belgium driver of the Williams has 184 points. After him we have Hypnotize in the best Mercedes, just 10 points behind. Mark, there's a bit of a bigger gap there, as Mark completes the top 5 with 136 points. Still yet to achieve 100 points is Quicket in the Haas F1 team with 99 points. Bird follows in P7 as the second best Williams, has only 73 points, exactly 20 points ahead of a tie between Mele and Barney, as the Alfa Romeo leads the Red Bull drivers. They occupy 8th and 9th place respectively, as Money completes the top 10 for the Racing Point team with 47 points so far. So with that, we can get ourselves started with the qualifying session for our Mexican Grand Prix. And of course, back with us again is Maku. How are you doing?
Yeah, and I'm doing very fine, and I see the weather does not, because it's raining. And that will do a lot of interesting things with the strategy and the setups of the cars.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be interesting. What drivers? It looks like it's... I'm not sure. I would like to make a bet on it. I'm going to say it's intermediate tires for these drivers. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. See what drivers maybe compromise their setups a little bit to be a bit more effective during the wet weather conditions. Of course, we still don't know what is the weather for the race. So these drivers, if the race is completely dry, they might just try to hold on to it with a completely dry setup, because of course Parc Fermé doesn't allow them to change the setup, apart from just minor adjustments in some areas, but overall no major changes in the setup. So the drivers are just going to have to take it in the chin if the race is going to be dry. Let's see if the more slippery conditions are going to catch some of our drivers out, especially if it confirms that the race is dry and the drivers are going to have to adapt to driving in these tricky conditions with a dry setup.
The other question is later on if it's raining in the race later on again. Then we'll have another change to the setups too, and to the tire strategies. But we don't know that. I think the drivers do. But yeah, let's see. We have a lot of drivers already out to make their first lap, and yeah, they had a little bit of practice in the as it wasn't raining. But yeah, now they're doing their first quali laps in the rain.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we're going to follow Black Panther, as it looks to me is the first driver to start a flying lap. We're going to follow him on board for a little bit, as he's going to get himself all the way down into turn 1, up through the gears, as there's a couple drivers ahead of him. Hopefully they won't be too many or too big of an issue. He has to wait for about 100-meter marker sign a bit earlier on the brakes due to the slipperiness of the track as he tries to get smooth on the power coming out of turn 3. A bit of a whiplash from the rear there, but he kept that one under control. Up through the gears, mode 5 of ERS as he gets all the power from that Mercedes power unit. Once again waiting for about 100 meters from corner number 4 and then to the right-hander of 5, and what is essentially double apex right-hander of turn number 6, and they get out of that little section very technically indeed. It looks like he got the car planted on the exit as well, which is nice. A bit of a missed apex there on the approach to corner number 7, but now a very fast, very twisty section of turn 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11. Of course, you need to maximize speed in order to get a good lap time. A bit of hesitation there from the Belgian drivers. He finishes second sector with a 1 minute 4 seconds time so far on the lap. And now he approached the always very good looking, very happy crowd here in the stadium section, especially towards the end of the race. There's always a loud, very loud, the amount of noise produced from those fans. He's going to get himself through the line. 127.2. There's a couple drivers right behind. I couldn't quite catch them. Who exactly is going to cross the line next? I believe it was pole position. There's a car just ahead of him, but I can't quite make out who it is. Pole position is coming through. Let's see what kind of lap time he does as Matthew does a 127.6. Will the Mercedes get on pole? No, it does not. Gets his lap invalidated, Maku.
Oh no. Yeah, but that's the problem in the wet. You know, if it's slippery, you often cut a corner more because you're sliding a bit through the corners. And I think especially from corners 7 to 11, we have first a wider S and then a tighter S. And I think especially these corners. Oh, and Rupert just had a massive moment out of corner 17 to the start straight, but he hasn't touched any wall. But yeah, what I wanted to say was that these corners are very dangerous and very complex in the wet because it's that slippery. And normally, if you're driving out there and it's not raining, then you can go through these corners at very high speeds. And as soon as the track is a little bit slippery, you have to take a lot more care through these corners as normally.
Yeah, exactly. In the meantime, we've had Mark lower the benchmark with a 126.5. A couple of drivers who haven't been able to complete their laps, and look at that, Philip Nunes right behind his teammate, Black Panther, 3/10 apart, more or less, as they occupy the second and third places so far. South didn't complete the lap. Birkov is coming through in sector number 2. We had Emilio Sachs close to the end of his lap. Let's see what the Alfa Romeo driver does. Woo, a bit of a tank slapper there coming off turn number 12. Not really a place where I've seen drivers having issue putting the traction down. A bit too much aggressiveness perhaps from the Alfa Romeo driver. Needs to be smooth now. Coming through the last corner, he's going to cross over the line. It's going to be P9. He is the best one to post a lap time within the 128. 128.3 gets him a spot in top 10. We have, I believe, one of his rivals coming through. I think I missed him, but there was a rival behind him about to get the lap done. Pole position, completes the second lap, still nullified. Rupert does the same, having a bit of struggle. The driver who got himself P3 last time out in Japan, if I recall correctly, but at the moment not exactly having the best of days. Speed Booster in the meantime has gotten about 1 second of an improvement, got himself a 127.0, and the championship leader gets himself up to P4. In the meantime, Maku, anything that has drawn your attention?
No, currently not. A lot of the drivers are, I think, on the out lap or on the in lap again, or they're trying to do another lap on their intermediates because you can drive them longer than the normal softs, and they stay kind of in the same condition. And yeah, but I think the most of the people are going to the pits again, or
Yeah, I'm looking for people. Pole position looks like he's going to cross over the line. Third lap that gets nullified. 151 time as Rupert finally gets a lap together. 126.7 as he separates the Williams up into a P3. But yeah, while we wait, we have Millie in the pits going for the softs. Not sure if that's a wise choice. We have Weke on outlap at the moment. South is coming back in. Toffee coming back in. Money doing the same. It looks like Matthew looks like he's pushing. He's on mode 3 of ERS. That leads me to think that he's pushing. Got a bit wide there coming out of turn number 11. Not sure if that's going to be a valid lap. Also wide once again. He was improving almost 4/10 though. Let's see if he got away with those track extensions. Is he going to? No, he just completely cut the corner, so just ensuring he wouldn't get a valid lap time. And that's going to be it for the Toro Rosso driver. Weke is going to start his lap, but we're going to join him in a little bit because Maku, I wanted to bring up the topic of the strategy. You did mention earlier on that these qualifying conditions would change the strategies, and I would say that I agree, and it's going to be very interesting because now the drivers that were supposed to start on the softs then go for the hards or do the reverse, they are going to get a little bit more help because the tires won't be used for qualifying. Maku, what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I think that makes much more tense in the grid, especially the people in 11th grid place and downwards won't have that much of an advantage because everyone is using a new tire. But that can also bring up a lot of different strategies because everyone can choose his tire. And yeah, you know, I think some will start on the hard and go on the soft in the end. There will surely be some who will start on the soft and then try the hard on the end. But I think we'll see some on the mediums too, and maybe go for a two-stop strategy, as you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, exactly. In the meantime, we have Weke just arrived the stadium section as he gets himself on the airpin. Very technical section, especially in these tricky conditions. Very slippery indeed. You can see in the telemetry how smoothly he needs to apply the throttle to make sure the car is facing the correct way at all times. Gets himself P10, 127.4, very close to the time posted by Money in the racing point. So far, Iceman though comes through P9 for him as he gets a 127.224, so very nicely done. Money is the one that improves with a 127.0, gets himself up to P5. We have also another bunch of drivers that are about to complete their flying laps. We have Barney and we have Velocity. Barney is still in Sector 1. Velocity is going to be the first of the two to complete his lap. Let's see how it goes for the Toro Rosso driver. 1:30 is not the best of times. He's going to get a 128.3, getting himself P14 for the time being right behind him. Eagle, I believe it was. No, Eagle is about to complete a lap of his own. He does not improve, so he maintains in the 130s as Iceman gets himself on his second attempt, a 126.4, back to the top of the table. And Barney is now the one that's about to complete his lap, even though it looks like he's not improving, Maku.
No, Barney was off in Sector 1, I think, already. He had like 2 tenths off, and now he needs to get the chicane right, and then maybe if he does the third sector a little much more better than the first time, he could be able to do an improvement, but looks not. Oh, it was an improvement.
Yeah, it was. He got himself
28 tenths.
Yeah, exactly. He got himself to P11. We have now Black Panther and Mark. Mark is in the third sector. Black Panther is still early on his lap. Felipe Nunes is going to start a lap of his own right behind the Ferrari. Let's see what the Ferrari does. Can he get himself back on top? He's going to cross over the line, and he does! A 126.4. Look at how close those two are at the top there, Maku.
That's always interesting how close the people on the top are, especially even in the drive when people are like the first 10 people are in 1 second, and that's how the small mistakes you make on the track during your fastest lap can really put like you 3 places down in the grid.
Yeah, exactly. We have Black Panther, who lowers the benchmark with a 126.3. Nicely done for the Belgium driver. As we have Speed Booster on a lap, he's still in the first sector. Philippe Nunes is closer to the end of his. He's improving at the moment according to lap timing, as he's currently in the beginning of sector number 2. He got a bit wide there. Not sure if that lap is going to get validated. Hypnotize also in sector 2 a bit further back. We have Matthew. Let's see where he is. He's also in that twisty second sector at the moment. Speed Booster still in the second sector, just trying to find someone that's close to the end of the lap. There we have Philippe Nunes improving by almost half a second according to the live timing. Let's see what he does. Can he get himself in the top 3? He got himself a bit of a corner cutting there, and not sure if he got away with that one. Nonetheless, he's going to get himself a bit sideways, crossing over the line. Mark improves. Philippe Nunes does not. I mean, he improved, but it was invalidated. So very unfortunate from the Williams driver, as the Ferrari is back on top.
Yeah, while you were talking about Philippe Nunes, FX Rupert has tried another fast lap, but got a little wide around corner 6, I think, and then he aborted his lap.
Okay, in the meantime, we have Speed Booster with a 126.1, hunting down the Ferrari driver. Rupert, he went back into the pits, and we have pole position in another lap. Let's see, still in sector number 2. We are going to find out soon if he's finally... Oh, very, very wide there in that little section there. Pretty sure he's not going to be able to get that one validated. In the chat, we have Tibor Milan asking where is Formula Dani. Formula Dani races in the first tier. We are in tier 2. If you go to the channel, we have 2 broadcasts going on at the moment. We have these tier 2 or tier B, and we have the League 1 or League A, where Formula Dani is racing. So you go to the channel and you are going to be able to find it, I believe. So in the meantime, the rain has stopped. 3.5 minutes to go, just below that mark. But the rain has stopped. It's going to be quite interesting to see. I can see already some drivers picking the dry compounds on the garages. They haven't gotten out of the garages just yet, but we might, after all, have at least an attempt of some drivers to get underway on the dry compounds to get some laps done. Velocity, though, is on an outlap of his own. He's about to complete that outlap on the intermediates. Not sure if he's coming back into the pits. Hypnotize is on a flyer as he just started a lap of his own. He's the only one on track apart from Velocity. We're going to find out shortly if Velocity is coming to the pits. No, he's not. He's actually going for that lap on the intermediates, and this could be these 2 drivers shooting themselves in the foot, especially if the dry tires become quicker than these intermediates. It's going to be very interesting indeed to see the level of grip out there, and these drivers, by opting to have an attempt on the intermediates, might have given up on the chances to get a good qualifying performance, Maku.
Yeah, but I think the intermediates are now, as you see with Velocity, he's sliding a lot. He has no real grip. He's just carrying his car around the corners as good as it goes. And I think softs or every other dry compound is at the moment better than the intermediate, and you can drive a faster lap time with them. The only problem will be that nearly all of the drivers will just have one shot for this lap. They have to do their best lap in one lap. Most of the drivers won't have time for another one, I think.
Yeah, I do agree. It's going to be a high pressure situation for these drivers for sure. Black Panther is the one out first. It might actually be a disadvantage, because the later the drivers are able to get their laps in, the drier the track will be, at least in theory. Of course, the drivers driving ahead are starting to warm the track up as it dries out and gets the water away from its surface. So Black Panther might actually be the disadvantaged one by going out first. Let's see how it goes, as we are going to see his lap, as he's the first out of the group. I'm going to keep tabs on the graphic to know what order is for these drivers, as it's Mark coming out behind the Williams. After that we have Money, and after that we have Birkov. So yeah, Eagle is also there. We do have a lot of drivers in quick laps successfully, not successfully, but in quick succession. As yeah, Black Panther went wide there. Yeah, he went wide there.
Yeah. His lap was invalidated. Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing now. I think he's a little bit upset about that because he has no time for another.
Yeah, that's quite the shame. He got wide coming out of the first double chicane of turns 1, 2, and 3, and he's going to miss out, and that's very unfortunate. He, who got himself a win at Singapore, a retirement in Russia, got himself a good result in Japan, but he's trying to get back into the contest for the championship lead, but like that, it won't necessarily be the best of ways. Mark is coming through. He is the man on pole at the moment. Will he be able to improve it? Eagle does a 118.40. Is actually the first one to get out there. I actually didn't notice him, but Eagle is the first one to get. Will Mark be able to beat that lap time? Let's see how it goes as he comes out of the last corner. He's going to cross over the line, and yes, he does. He gets himself a 115.3, demolishing the lap time of the Haas driver. Money right behind him. We have Millie getting himself on the mediums, a 117.0. Pole position moves up to P4. It's going to be a very big torrent of drivers coming through. Rupert on the mediums as well. He's going to cross over the line. P4 for the time being with a 117.2, not exactly the fastest out of the medium runners. We have Speed Booster on the hards. Let's see how it goes. He's improving. Iceman does even better than his previous attempt. A 115.1 takes him to the top step. Philippe Nunes beating him by 79 thousandths of a second, takes himself the top spot. And now let's see the championship leader, Speed Booster. What can he do? South gets P4 for the time being. The Renault gets himself P11 on the yards. Well, that was an exciting end to the qualifying for sure. And yeah, there you have it. So there you have it. Felipe Nunes, the Brazilian, gets himself on pole, followed by Iceman. Less than a tenth of a second separating the two. Mark in P3, South in P4, Millie P5, Emilio Sachs in P6, Money P7, Rupert P8, pole position in 9 in the best of the Mercedes, and Eagle in the best of the Haas closes the top 10. So while we wait, as we have a lot of drivers that invalidated their lap times, so they are, you can see, everyone, even Speed Booster nullified his lap time on the hard, so unfortunately it is what it is. Scotty won't be able to get it done, and while we wait for the start of the session, we're going to get the track guide with Berezny himself, so let's listen to the man himself as he takes us around the lap of the Autódromo Hermanos Rodriguez.
Hi guys, it's Danny Berezny here, and I am going to try to show you around a lap in Mexico before the ORL League race tonight. Here in the long straight you don't need to worry about anything, just pushing the pedal to the metal, as you don't need to do any movement on the steering wheel, just carry the maximum speed possible. Look for the 100-meter board and brake a little bit later than that. Keep tight your car in the first corner to prepare for the second and the third combination, where you must have an amazing exit to gain a lot of time in the second DRS zone as well, and it's a great overtaking opportunity. In next left-hander, brake around 80 meters, keep it tight as well, always think one corner ahead, and always think about the exit for these long flat out sections. In the second part of the second sector, just try to not overdrive your car, not slide around so much, use all of the track and try to keep your tire temps cool, especially for the race, as rear tire wear can be crucial. Of course, corner cutting is pretty hard on you as well. Arriving to the beginning of the third sector, again use all the track, brake at the straight line, have late apex to prepare always for the next corner, always for the next exits. Do the same in the last turn as well, and then try to keep it tight until the start finish line, and this is an amazing lap in Mexico.
Okay, so we are back after that quick lap as the drivers are still in their formation lap, and as you guys can see, we have a very big portion of the drivers on the softs. a couple of them, I believe it's 5 drivers on the mediums and 2 on the hards, on a track where that top 2 are going to have a very, very tough time keeping everyone behind them, Maku.
Yeah, and I think we'll see some very interesting strategies, and I just thought a little about it. And do you think it might be possible to do a medium soft or a soft medium? Because they're starting on fresh tires.
Even so, I don't think it is possible. It will help them for sure get those softs a little bit longer, but if you go for a 2-stop, I think you are really committed. I don't think there is any margin for adaptation into a 1-stop, but nonetheless, we are going to see the drivers. They are going to certainly try, so let's see how that one goes. As we have the drivers getting themselves on the end of the formation lap as they get on their designated spots on the grid according to their qualifying performance. Scotty, unfortunately, wasn't able to put even a lap in, so he's bringing up the rear in his Alfa Romeo. He's on his 20th place spot, bringing it to the Williams of Felipe Nunes. Iceman right behind him. Let's see, will anyone of the top 2 get in front coming out of the first chicane? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. Lights out, and away we go for the Mexican Grand Prix. We have a good start there from Emilio Sachs, a good start from Felipe Nunes. Not a great start from Iceman. Mark is already challenging him, going down the main straight into turn 1. It's going to be the slipstream of the Williams giving to the Ferrari. It's almost 3-4 wide in the second row there as Mark and Iceman come to blows. There's a 3-wide moment for Millie South and Emilio Sachs. Emilio Sachs is already spun. It's coming down through the order. Felipe Nunes in the lead. Iceman comes in P2. Mark P3. South overtakes Millie, who drops down to P5. Rupert in P6 for the time being, trying to get something out of this mess. He's going to attack Millie, who attacks South. It's going to be a side-by-side moment into the section there. The Renault and the Racing Points touch wheels, and as you can see, that's Rupert trying to take advantage of the situation. He propels himself up to P5. Millie has to give down the spot to P6. And did you see anything? What happened back there with Sachs, Maku?
I just saw that he dropped down, but I stayed at the action in front too. The only thing I can mention out there is that he's even though he spun out, he's in front of Scotty. So either he got really fast back on track, or Scotty got involved in an incident too. And while I'm saying that, he goes very wide. And yeah, let's see what the drivers can do with their position, because they're really close together, especially at the back. And I think Barney is trying to overtake Hypnotize on the long straight, and I think he has a better traction with his softs, and I think he can make that work. Yeah. He just overtook Hypnotize with a lot of more speed, because he got a better exit out of turn 17 and with his softs, and yeah.
Yeah, exactly. In the meantime, we had a bit of a 3, maybe 4-wide battle for what I believe to be P11. There's a bit of a glitch now on the standings there. South went down to last place. It's probably lag or something, but you can see Black Panther has to contend with pole position, and Matthew and Weke was able to get close to them, trying to take any pieces that might come his way, as he's on the softs, going to put the pressure on the medium runners ahead of him. Matthew, and also pole position, putting the pressure on Black Panther as speed booster on the hards. He's already made his way up to P8, so a good start from him. He's actually P9 as South got himself back from his lag moment. As South goes wide, hits the wall. South hits the wall, and Rupert takes the position. I'm not sure if damage is on, at least on my screen. He had no damage. He's having no damage on my screen. I have no idea if it's on or not.
I think he has.
Yeah, it probably does have. If the lobby has damage on, then
it yeah. The pits.
Exactly. He's coming into the pits. By the way, looking at the front, there's a really bad lag moment there. Felipe Nunes is already pulling away. 1.6 seconds separating him from P2. Mark is within the DRS range. He just has to hold on for a little bit longer, and he's going to be able to use DRS on the McLaren ahead of him. In the meantime, Money and Eagle come to blows. The Racing Point gets himself off a place and is closer to his teammate than at the start of the Grand Prix. Yellow flags in Sector 3 as Scotty has another moment, I believe, and Scotty is also coming to the pits. So a disastrous start for Scotty, South, and Emilio Sachs. A very bad start from the Alfa Romeos overall.
Yeah, but I think the accident with Emilio Sachs wasn't intended, and it was just a racing incident in this very very wild starting phase, and yeah, but he's already up into, or what means already, he's now up into place 17.
Sorry to interrupt you. Barney's out. Yeah, Barney's out. He lost the rear coming out
he
of.
has a massive moment.
Yeah.
South
South at the moment as well. South spun as well, but Barney looks like he lost the rear coming out of this corner that the Renault is coming through just now, and you can see he's parked to the left side there.
Yeah.
Fortunately, it didn't put anyone in danger, as actually the car parked itself on the wall there, as pole position loses a lot of places. We were pressurizing. Black Panther is now all the way down and out of the top 10, back to P12 with Hypnotize right behind him on the hards as well. Let's see how that one goes. Looks like Hypnotize got a better exit, but the wall position is he's actually not going to get the RS, or at least he's not using it. Hypnotize is going to put his teammate under pressure. It's softs versus the hards, and Hypnotize cedes the position to his teammate. The number 93 gets past the 90, and up he goes. A swap there on the McLaren side of things, as we have Millie and Money. Also another swap between teammates. Money gets past Millie and puts his teammate out of the top 5, Maku.
Yeah, and I just see a time penalty for Wacky, and I don't know if you know the regulations. I'm not quite sure if they're in the B split too, but at least in the A split it is that as soon as you get 5 time penalties from the game, you will be disqualified for the whole race.
Okay. Well, that's a bit of a shame for some of these drivers. The track limits are very easy to exploit and very easy to exploit too much, as we have everyone getting the RS down into turn 1. Mark tried to challenge Iceman, couldn't quite get through. Speed Booster does get past Eagle. Black Panther is going to try to follow. Speed Booster knows that he needs to get a car between himself and Black Panther. You could feel the desperation there as the Williams tried to wrestle his way through, and he does. There's contact at the back between Eagle and Matthew as well, as the Toro Rosso tries to be a bit opportunistic there and moves his way up to P9. Eagle drops down 3 places in the span of 3 corners, Maku.
Yeah, and Birkhoff goes the inside, and then oh no. Yeah, he tried to overtake pole position. Now Tuffy is in the inside of Birkhoff and tries the overtake maneuver. And can he make it work? I don't think so. Those 3 are also battling for their positions, but they're staying in line. The overtakes maneuver weren't that good to make a difference.
Yeah, let's see who gets the best exit. Of course, Emilio Sachs, as we're going on board with him, he got a bit of a run on Toffee, not close enough to have a dive at the Ferrari though, as we are going to get another round of the battle between Mark and Iceman. Let's see, Iceman obviously does not have DRS, mode 4 DRS, and slips him for the Ferrari. He's going to get himself side by side with Iceman into turn 1. Let's use the bravest on the brakes. They are still side by side. Is there going to be any contact as they get themselves on the curb? Very little space for the 2 cars, nonetheless. Beautifully driven by Iceman as he retakes P2. Mark is not done just yet as we approach turn number 4. They're going to be side by side once again. No chicane this time around. It's going to be the inside line into the left-hander, the right-hander for the Ferrari, and beautiful maneuver. Mark claims P2 as he moves up the order. Millie also swapped positions with Money, and Money actually lost out a little bit. Speed Booster is all over the back of the Racing Point, Maku.
Yeah, and Birkhoff overtook pole position on the start and finish straight, and then he made a little mistake, and they battled a little bit for the position, but in the end, pole position backed up and let Birkhoff drive. Yeah, that's why they switched places now. So we have a very big kind of loser of these first 6 laps, and this is South with he lost 14 places.
Yeah, I was going to. Yeah, I'm trying to find that one. Yeah, that's South. South, he had to go to the pits, so he lost 14 places, as I mentioned. Also, Emilio Sachs lost 9, and pole position lost 5 so far. So, not necessarily the ideal start for some of these drivers, as we have Speed Booster coming to head with Money, as he's trying to get to split that pair of racing points. And at the moment, He didn't quite succeed, but he's getting a better exit. Money gets the DRS, but it might be a 3-wide moment as Speed Booster is going to give the slipstream to Black Panther. Sensible, the Belgium driver, as he backs off a little bit, but takes advantage of the compromised line of the Racing Point. It's the soft tires versus the mediums. It's going to be very interesting to see who gets the traction down earlier coming out of this double apex right-hander. Beautiful move from Black Panther coming down the inside as he takes P7, and Speed Booster, fortunately for him, is not able to put the car between him and his title rival. Black Panther is just able to take advantage of when Speed Booster overtakes to overtake himself, and of course later on the tires might come into their answers. Of course Black Panther is going to have his tires degrade quicker than the Renault drivers, but nonetheless it's going to be quite interesting to see. Out of these two, they've shown they are some of the quickest drivers in the league. Of course Speed Booster is in the championship lead, and Black Panther has been on a streak of podium finishes, including a win at Russia, I believe. Nonetheless, he's going to get himself right on the back of Speed Booster as they go past Millie. Will the Williams be able to? No, he's too far away. Finally, a car between the Renault and the Williams as Millie gets another 3-second time penalty, and there you have it. No DRS once again. Black Panther going to have the easy maneuver past his rival, and up into P6 he goes. But look at that, great job from both these drivers to start outside of the top 10, and at least one of them is right on P5 and the other in P6. So they came from outside of the top 10 to almost having both of them in the top 5. Great job from them so far, Maku.
Yeah, that's because they are the top 3 of our current championship standings, and while they were overtaking to, I think they're going for the podium. They're trying to get into those first 3 places. There were 2 other overtakes. Tuffy overtook Emilio on the start and finish straight, and Weke passed Eagle. I think in the corner afterwards, in the corner like 1 or 2.
Okay, well, that's good to see. Some movement up and down the order as we have Matthew going to get the move on Money. It looks like the Money does not have DRS despite having the soft tires, and all medium tire runners ahead of him. Black Panther is going to challenge Speed Booster. Is he going to? No, he backs off. Money has to also be the one not backing off at this point if he wants to hold on to his position. Hypnotize though is coming for it. Hypnotize might well be on the lookout for getting that 9th spot. Black Panther is very close to the Renault as he takes it not into the first chicane. He takes it. Oh, as we have someone going off there. That's Scotty, who is getting lapped. Unfortunately, if some of the drivers are not using the line, that's going to be very unfortunate because the Alfa Romeo driver took out the 100-meter marker sign. Very important into that corner. So if there's any driver that does not use the line, they are going to be in a real problem. What happened?
Velocity just hit Emilio into a corner, and he had a little bit of a moment then, and I think Velocity lost a little bit of his end plate.
Yeah.
And yeah, those Velocity, Emilio, and Toffee were in the 3-way battle. So basically, Toffee lost 2 places to both Velocity and Emilio, but yeah, they're both in front now. No, Toffee's just overtaking Velocity, but going really wide.
Yeah, he's going to the pits, I believe. He might be able to adapt the strategy pit now for the hards, since this is the pitting window for the guys on the softs. So he could just pit now and go for the hards and adapt this one into a one-stop strategy. Iceman though comes out of the pits on traffic though. He's coming out on the hards. Birkov doesn't look like he's going to get the RS, but I don't know if Iceman is going to get the RS on the Haas. You could see how much time Iceman got on the Haas driver just in that chicane alone. He's not going to get the RS. That's going to certainly make his life a little bit harder. He's going to have to contend going side by side into turn number 4. He takes the outside line, which converts into the inside line, and Iceman disposes of the Haas driver, gets himself into P12, but now he has Eagle in front of him, going to give him a lot of dirty air into this very fast and twisty second sector, not exactly ideal, and it's going to be interesting to see if he comes out of the pits ahead of Mark, or maybe even falling back a couple more places. The tires, despite everyone starting on fresh tires, those softs must be screaming to be taken off their cars by their pit crews, as of course we don't have any of the leaders pitting just yet. Birkov witnessing the transition there of Iceman and Eagle as they swap positions, and he's going to be able to line up his rival, but in the meantime we have Hypnotize further ahead. He's pressurizing Money, he's on his hards Money, as his tires really dropping in terms of their life, in terms of their performance, and an easy maneuver from Hypnotize moves up to P8. We also had pole position coming to the pits. Eagle swapping positions with his teammate, or maybe not. Ooh, a bit of a sideways moment there from Eagle. He was able to hold onto the car, but those tires are probably quite overheated now, and he needs to get into the pits as soon as he can to remove them. So at the moment, Iceman has a bit of clean air in front of him. And Maku, have you witnessed something noteworthy?
No, nothing else than you did, but we have now a lot of space between the drivers, so my graphics show that there's no one really in the DRS window. Maybe Hypnotized sometimes. He gets close to Matthew now.
Oh, Mark is coming to the pits. Sorry to interrupt. Mark is coming to the pits. He's going on the undercut of Flip Nunes. Flip Nunes went through, and Rupert is also going through. He's on the mediums. Obviously, Mark is going for the mediums, and he's going... No, sorry. He's actually going for the hards. I got confused there by the graphic, but he's going on the hards. He's going for the one stop. At least he built a bit of a gap to the cars behind, so... he's in the best position to do the one stop because he's undercutting Philip Nunes, and he is also going to not lose as much time because the drivers that are going on a two stop are already behind him, so they are going to lose even more time on him once they make the pit stop. So they really need, those drivers really need to get the best stints they can to first catch up to him and then nullify the time they lose by pitting one more time. We also have Emilio Sachs, also have Toffee and Eagle coming into the pits. Eagle and Toffee going on brand new softs. Emilio Sachs going for brand new mediums. An interesting choice by the Ferrari and the Haas car. Maybe they are going for soft, medium, soft? Or soft, medium in this case. That's going to be interesting indeed. Mark comes out ahead of Iceman. This is actually quite interesting to see, because Iceman trying the undercut, he caught up Mark a little bit, and Weke, maybe a bit of team orders there, I don't know, but Weke is certainly going to try to back up Mark into Iceman. Iceman, as you can see, is already all over the rear diffuser of the Ferrari, and Felipe Nunes has finally come into the pits. He's coming out in P5, P6, P7. Hypnotize is hunting down one of his rivals, not necessarily able to overtake just yet. Mark far behind. Iceman swaps a position with Weke, but look at that. He gets the double slipstream. Weke comes into the pits, and look at that. Perfectly done by the McLaren team as Iceman takes the position from the Ferrari, and he gets what I suppose would be net P2. A bit of a tank slapper there coming from the McLaren, but Felipe Nunes comes out 2.5 seconds away from that duo as Maitu loses out to Hypnotize, loses out on his top 5 position. Birkov and some other drivers come into the pits as well. Birkov is coming out in P13 right behind South, who has his tires really done as well. He needs to get into the pits as soon as he possibly can. In the meantime, we had Black Panther getting past Speed Booster. They are already 4 seconds apart, so Speed Booster being a bit more conservative on his tires at the moment. Black Panther knows that if he wants to beat the Ferrari, the Renault driver, he needs to be aggressive, he needs to push the tires as long as he can, because he's going to have to make up for the fact that he's going to pit one more time. Hypnotize with a mistake somewhere. Maitu got through. Hypnotize, does he has damage? I don't think so. I'm going to try to figure it out. He does not have a damage, but Felipe Nunes has caught up to him and is going to get the slipstream, the DRS and the ERS on mode 4. Easy maneuver for him, and Mark is going to hunt down Iceman. He's closing in very rapidly indeed. He's going to be able to take that 8th spot. Birkov and South swap positions once again. Of course, South does not have the tires to be able to contend. The Ferrari of Mark cannot get the position position into turn number 1, but perhaps with a good exit he can challenge into turn number 4. It's going to be the RS wide open once again. Slipstream also at use of the Ferrari driver, but this time around he has to stay put in P9 for the time being, Maku.
Yeah, but you should have seen the battle, the face-to-face battle between South and Burkov, because they were going into turn 4, and Burkov was going for it, and they were tire to tire like all along until corner 7. And then I think South made a little mistake and got in the back, and then they just lined up that way, and that's why he lost the place.
Yeah, exactly. In the meantime, we had the 3-wide battle between South pole position and Eagle. Eagle dive-bombed pole position, but he misjudged himself a little bit too much, got too deep into the corner, clipped South. Fortunately, everything alright with the Renault, but the Haas went for a spin and he lost a lot of the ground he had made up. Black Panther and Matthew come into the pits. Let's see, will Black Panther get held up by the Toro Rosso? Fortunately not for him. Black Panther is going on the arts to the end of the Grand Prix. He's not going for the 2-stop. He's actually going until the end on a fresher set of hards. Maybe this would be an advantage over his rivals. Matthew is going on the same strategy. It's quite interesting to see as Black Panther is 14 seconds away from Mark and Hypnotize as they swap positions as Mark and Iceman get past the Mercedes. What, Maku?
Hypnosis is already has just lost the 2nd place because Iceman just passed him too a few corners earlier. I don't know if you have problems with this car or just with the pace or with the hard tires, but it looks kind of like it.
Yeah, it looks like it might have had damage. Maybe you are just not seeing like it happened to some other drivers. But I believe he got involved in some FT battles. He might have at least slight damage. But of course, those hards aren't necessarily the most effective at this point. They allow for consistent pace, but not necessarily the fastest. So you can be consistent and also be slow. Speed Booster is going on for his 15th lap. Rupert is going to get serviced out on the hards. Where is going to come out? Felipe Nunes is already passed. Iceman is passed. Mark is passed. Hypnotize is passed, but he has to pit. Will he come out ahead of Black Panther? Let's find out. I believe he has a bit of margin there, and Rupert does come out ahead of Black Panther with quite a sizable gap. About 10 to 15 seconds is the difference between the Williams and the Red Bull. Actually a bit less than that, about 7.5, as pole position gets a 3-second penalty. Mealy is still resisting on his mediums as he locks up into turn 4, gets a bit wide there, not necessarily helpful, and he's already out of the 1 second on Felipe Nunes. Maybe he was trying to get himself on the slipstream and the RS of the Williams to offset the fact that he's losing time on those very worn sets of mediums, but at least he's doing a good job of keeping himself on the track. Good job so far. Let's see though how many drivers will overtake him as he's going to come out of the pits after his first pit stop. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Mealy will go for a 2-stop, of course, because if he would have gone for the hard, then he would have gone for the pits earlier, and then he should have put on softs. But you know, maybe he was just trying, yeah. And now he has 2 stints on the softs with 10 laps each.
Yeah.
But what Speed Booster, for example, and Hypnotize, they're both out on the hards for now 16 laps, and I think they have to do their hards like at least 7-8 laps more. At least to go on the softs, else the softs will be that worn at the end of the race that they won't, they aren't able to keep that first place or whatever they will have.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you. In the meantime, Mealy came out behind Money, very close to him, but I don't think he's going to get the RS. In the meantime, we had Mark challenge Iceman once again. The Ferrari up to P3, which is going to be net P2 actually, since Speed Booster hasn't pitted yet. But look at that. Speed Booster is going long on that set of hards. He wants the softs at the end of the race. He knows he has the pace. He has had clean air since he got overtaken by Black Panther. They did a good job together of moving up the field. Now they have a bit of clean air. Black Panther on a 1-stop, but he pitted earlier. Speed Booster has clean air ahead of him. Felipe Nunes is catching up, but considering the freshness of the Williams tires, I would expect him to be closing in a bit quicker than this. But yeah, Speed Booster just just showing his pace, just showing his quality, as he's actually coming up to, I believe, is Emilio Sachs to lap him. But yeah, very good job from Speed Booster. Let's see how it goes towards the end of the race. It's going to get fresh, brand new softs for a late race charge. In the meantime, Iceman is still challenging Mark. This has been a very interesting battle between the two of them. Very clean battle, of course, but also a very aggressive one. Not necessarily in terms of the contact, but they keep on pushing each other. They keep on swapping positions, Maku.
Yeah, and I have to say these the battles here, it looks a little bit more interesting than in the A split. I have to say, of course, the drivers in the A split are a little bit faster than the drivers in this split, but I think these drivers in this split are a little bit more equal from their performance, and that means that they will battle a lot more, and maybe there are more overtakes, and of course, more overtakes mean there is a lot more action on the track, and this is better for spectators. But I saw Scotty went off the track, I think, in like corner 14 or something.
Yeah, going to try to figure out. Yeah, looks like he went wide. That's actually turn 12. Yeah, that's turn 12. And he's actually parked in the car. I'm not sure if he's retiring. But yeah, he has completely parked the car. He went back into moving. I think he's just letting his rivals past. But yeah, that's... He could get disqualified by being parked there. Maybe he should just go into the pits and retire there. But yeah, he's pulling off into the pits. I think he's going to retire finally. Very unfortunate race for the Alfa Romeo. In the meantime, looking back at the front, Iceman and Mark still going at it. And we also have a battle between the Racing Points. Millie closing in on Money once again, not able to overtake into turn 1. Let's see how it goes. Looks like Millie did get a better exit coming out of turn number 3. There's a 5 difference in tire lap usage, as aggressive there on Millie, locks up, goes deep into the corner. Money is going to get the switch back into corner number 5. Couldn't quite get the traction down as early as he wanted, has to settle for P9.
As Emilio Sachs goes for the overtake on pole position, but they have a pretty equal exit of the previous corner, and so they stay in position, but they're battling all three for the place of 14th.
Oh, in the meantime, we have a swap of positions at the lead. Speed Booster on his 19th lap on those hards. Got jumped by Felipe Nunes, and I would say that Speed Booster, it might be better for him to go on the mediums. I think at this point he's just losing time. So I don't know. I think it could be better for him to just go on the mediums, because most of the drivers in the top 10 are on the hards already. So just go on the mediums and you already have a softer tire, right? So, yeah, I think it would be better for him to go the remaining 15 laps on mediums. Let's see how that one goes, though. As we have yellow flags in sector 3, I guess it's Scotty letting people through. Money and Millie swapped places once again. Money got passed back up into P8, Mark.
Yeah, and Millie had a little bit of a moment, a little bit of a blocking tire, even though he has just 3 laps old hard, so basically I think he just went too late for the braking, but that's not good for the tires if they should last until the end.
Yeah, exactly. In the meantime, we have a battle. Ooh, Toffee! A bit naughty there. Didn't have contact with Emilio Sachs. Good awareness from the Alfa Romeo driver. But Toffee not necessarily getting the best of lines there. Already lost the place to pole position. And they're fending off Emilio Sachs. Scotty finally is done with it. Basically, already finally retires. Toffee has his soft tires going down quickly. Emilio Sachs took a lot more speed through the middle sector there, but he had to back off of the throttle actually to not smack into the back of the Ferraris. And very different fates have had the Ferraris this race. One is into P3, the other one is way down in P15. Maku, that's very interesting.
Yeah, but at least one is getting points, you know. For the Constructors' Championship, every point counts, and if Toffee can get up into 10th place, even that would be great. And then to bring up another thing about penalties, we are seeing right now Philip Nunes in first place, but he has 9 seconds worth of time penalties. So basically, he needs to be 9 seconds in front of everyone in second place to stay on the first place.
Well, it depends on how many penalties the others have, as Emilio Sachs takes
Yeah.
a leap at pole position. Pole position answers back beautifully, maintains P15, but Yamako, it does depend on the penalty of the others. How many, can you tell how many the other drivers have?
Yeah, so basically Iceman has 3, so 3 seconds. Mark and Speed Booster have none. Hypnotize has none too. Rupert has 3. Black Panther has 6 seconds. Money 0. Melee has 6 too. And who's that? Matthew has 21 seconds worth of penalties.
Oh, so
How
he's
did he get
already.
that?
I think he jumped the limit, right? Because 5 penalties,
I think
5
that's
times 3, 5 times 3 is 15. So he has 7 penalties, I
now he
believe. Yeah, he has
got
7
another
penalties. Yeah.
He just got another penalty.
So 24 seconds of penalties. That's
Yeah.
8
much.
8 penalties. So unfortunately, he won't be able to hold on to that P10, even if the others even if the others can't get him on time alone. He's disqualified from the race, I believe. So that is certainly unfortunate, but Mark, as you can see, is catching up to Speed Booster. That's exactly what Iceman didn't need, because Iceman is very on the edge of losing out on the RS, and Mark getting the RS on this straight was exactly what Iceman didn't need. Iceman is going to get to DRS on Speed Booster. Speed Booster doesn't get any, but still gets the DRS and, still gets the slipstream on Mark, and it's going to be a quite of a nuisance. As you can see, Speed Booster has almost double the amount of laps that Iceman has, and is going to be giving a lot of dirty air for that McLaren in the second sector. We are going to follow on board with the McLaren. As you can see, the amount of time that has been lost already between Mark and Iceman. Mark is exactly what he needs to get rid of the McLaren and be able to charge in the later to maybe catch up to Felipe Nunes, or at least be able to be alone and just mind his apexes so that he doesn't get as many penalties as the Williams driver in front. Any word on anything, Mako?
Eagle and Toffee just went to the second pit stop, and I think the pit window of the people on the hard tires, so basically Hypnotize and Speed Booster, is slowly opening, because you can drive the softs for around 10 laps, and I think the hard is getting really slow now.
Yeah, I do believe so. Well, it also depends on the driver. Speed Booster is not allowing Iceman to overtake him just yet. Mark has gotten away with it, but Speed Booster is getting the RS and not the slipstream anymore, but Iceman getting a bit desperate. He sends it down the inside. It's going to convert into the outside. He's going to be able to make it stick. Speed Booster doesn't have the traction that he wanted, and he's going to have to settle for P4, but you can see now 1.5 seconds separating the McLaren from the Ferrari, and this is also what Speed Booster needs, because if he wants, he's going to, he needs to be able to keep up, but he can get himself DRS once again if he pushes a little bit more. Looks like Iceman is on mode 4 into the second sector. Speed Booster is only on mode 2 of the RS, so if he pushed just a little bit more, he could have gotten into the RS range. I think he still is after all that, so good for him. But yeah, Speed Booster taking advantage of the fact that he's being undercut by most of his rivals to get at least these slipstreams and the RS moments that are certainly helpful for the Renault driver, especially, Hypnotize is coming into the pits, but I want to see what Black Panther does into Speed Booster, because Black Panther is on his 10th lap on the hard. Speed Booster is going to be on brand new softs, Mako.
Yeah, so basically Speed Booster will be that much faster. I think Yellow has no problem overtaking even without DRS. But I think why Speed Booster is in that low ERS mode is kind of connected to that, because I think he's using it. He isn't using it that much because he's getting into the pits like this or then next round, and then he'll has a lot of ERS to do the overtakes later on the softs, a lot easier. Because then he will go like 20 seconds down, and then he's about behind Money or something. Yeah, he should come out behind Money, between Money and Mealy.
Yeah, exactly. So I apologize, guys, for going on pause. As Black Panther got a penalty. It looked like to me even a 5-second penalty. Not entirely sure, but it like so to me. And you can see, we're going on board with Hypnotize. Look at the speed difference through the middle sector. Hypnotize is on 0 ERS. He's not even pushing. But look at the difference in speed between Hypnotize and Mealy. Mealy just has no argument. There's nothing he can do. Hypnotize is right on the gearbox of the racing point and is going to overtake him very, very shortly. Speed Booster is also coming out of the pits on that same set of softs. Will Money get up to him? Money is closing in. He's going to try desperately to take at least a little bit of DRS. Not DRS, but Slipstream, sorry. And is not really able to. Speed Booster is going to start pulling away from here on out. Birkov overtakes Maitu, who comes into the pits. Hypnotize overtakes Mealy. And we are going to witness how quickly Hypnotize is going to get up to Money. Money, who's also losing out to the other soft runner in Speed Booster. Also very interesting to see what Speed Booster can do on the softs now in the 10 laps that compose the remaining of this Mexican Grand Prix. Pole position goes into the pits as well, so we have quite a few late chargers, Maku.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll have some more because the Burkroff, for example, or Emilio Sachs with 14 and 13 laps on the mediums will have to pit another time because those mediums won't last another 10 laps. So they're going in, I think, this or next lap too, because else the softs won't make sense anymore.
Yeah, exactly. That's actually a good point. Those mediums won't be lasting too much longer. Hypnotize gets the fastest lap. Speed Booster, you can see, 10 seconds away from Black Panther. Black Panther is no slouch, but he is on the yards. Will Speed Booster get himself in the top 5? That's going to be quite interesting to see. And if he gets past Black Panther, who can tell where it's going to end up? There's also a 4-second gap. Sorry, 6-second gap. No, 4-second gap. I was reading it wrong. Maitu got disqualified for too many corner cuts, unfortunately. Birkov gets promoted into the top 10. But yeah, there is a 4-second gap between Black Panther and Rupert, so if Speed Booster can get the position from the Williams, then if he pushes hard enough, he could potentially get himself that 4th place and solidify even a championship lead if he catches up to Iceman. It's going to be a bit more of a stretch, but of course it's going to be very interesting. Speed Booster has already claimed over a second on Black Panther this lap alone, and Hypnotize has done the same to Money. He's all over the back of the Racing Point, Maku.
Yeah, and another interesting fact by the side, Philippe Nunes, who is at the moment leading the race, would be taking his 2nd podium and his 1st win if he can hold this 1st place. But with this 7 seconds, he pretty sure should be, even though he has, like I said, no, he now has 12 seconds worth of penalties, and Mark does not. He has no penalties, so at the moment he will have to pull away a little bit more. I think 5 or 6 seconds to stay in 1st place, else he will be 2nd or even 3rd.
Yeah, exactly. Mark, unfortunately, every single time looking at his history of race finishes, he has most times ended up in the podium. He has 2 wins, one in Spain, the other in France. So it's shown very good pace whenever he shows up. It's just that he can only show up every other race. From the looks of it, looking at his result history, as Hypnotize gets a penalty. I don't know how many he has racked up so far, but not exactly an ideal amount for sure. And looks like Mark might actually be able to take the third win of the season, because Felipe Nunes has a lot of penalties and Mark has had a brilliantly disciplined race. 0 penalties in a track where it's very common to have quite high amount of penalties. We have already had the Toro Rosso of Matthew getting disqualified for being too liberal with his interpretation of the track limits. So unfortunately for him, but yeah, it just shows how easy it is to cut corners or to just extend in general. And Mark being very disciplined, he's 8 seconds away from Felipe Nunes, but arguably he's only that far away because he hasn't been using the track as much. So there you have it. Great race from Mark, who has pulled away from Iceman, and Iceman looks like he broke up. He has lost his focus, it looks like, because he's now 4 seconds away from the Ferrari. Black Panther coming under pressure, speed booster already under 6 seconds from the Williams. Maku.
Yeah, and we have quite interesting at the back. So because of, I think, FX Rupert was lapping pole position. Pole position was really close to Toffee, but because he had to let by Rupert, he has lost a lot of time to Toffee. Because I thought from the timing he could have overtaken him the next few corners, but then Rupert came in between those two.
Oh, sorry to interrupt. There's a huge change. Black Panther, he had a spin, I believe. He lost an immense amount of time. There were yellow flags in sector 1. I believe he spun coming out of the first corner. I can't tell if he hits the wall or if he has damage. Looks like his front wing is intact. But look at that. It just made the job easier to Speed Booster, who's now in 5th place, 9 seconds away from Rupert. 6 laps, he needs to take over a second on Rupert. It's going to be very hard, but let's see. Can he get himself past the Red Bull? That's going to certainly be interesting to find out. Hypnotize is not really on the same pace as the others, but he still has softs compared to the yards of Black Panther. Hypnotize might be the driver that actually is able to get between Speed Booster and Black Panther, which is also going to take a big knock on the Williams drivers' chances at the championship. In the meantime, pole position is catching up to Toffee, Maku.
And yeah, and he's taking the gap in the first corner, but they're trying. He can't get past. He tried it into the second corner too, but Toffee had the better way outside, and now he lost a lot of time. It looks like, even with the DRS, he didn't came really close. And even though he has the softer tire and a not that old tire as Toffee.
Yeah, exactly. That's really pole position is just having not the greatest of days. Currently in second last, 30 seconds away from South, but is not really making good use of that set of softs, that's for sure. Birkov is also 1.5 seconds away from Emilio
I think
Sachs.
Philip Nunes disconnected. Mark is directly behind him.
Yeah, he did disconnect. He came back in, but he has disconnected. Mark is going to overtake him on track by, well, of course, the AI occupying the Williams now. And Felipe Nunes, he already had it lost, to be honest, because of the amount of penalties. But now, he might actually, if it depends, but he lost a lot of time. So Iceman is going to get past him certainly. Rupert, Speed Booster, Black Panther and Hypnotize, depending on the amount of penalties they have, they might as well all jump. Yeah, always spins. Ooh, that was...
Oh no, what happened there?
Yeah, I don't know. I think he just lost out. He tried to reconnect, and I guess maybe he had issues with his pedals once he reconnected, or maybe he just reconnected and put the traction down just too early. Because
possibly.
Yeah, all of that is possible, but I was going to say...
how weird how he crashed.
Yeah, I was going to say that everyone would have a chance of jumping him. Looks like he did that already for them. As Reke is going to get promoted to P9, Emilio Sachs is going to get into top 10, but Birkov is right on his gearbox. This could be a very good chance of him to get in the top 10. There you have it, Emilio Sachs, 20 laps on those mediums. So he's really putting a show on how to manage these tires. He has as many laps on those mediums as Money and Mark have on the hards. So yeah, very interesting stuff indeed. And yeah, that's just a masterclass of tire management. He's just trying to survive with he can, really. But yeah, great job from him. Unfortunately, just got kicked out of the point swing positions. In the meantime, Rupert closing in on Iceman, Speed Booster closing in on both of them, Maku.
Yeah, and I think we're just an overtaker from pole position of Eagle. I think I was switching to him as I saw he passed him. I'm not sure if they were battling or something.
Yeah, all three of them are battling. Toffee, pole position, and Eagle. They are all three of them battling each other. Basically the entire race. They've been very close to each other for most of the race. They might be for the last positions of the table, but nonetheless, it's always exciting to see some battles. And these guys have been providing us exactly that this entire afternoon.
Yeah, especially because all of the other drivers have their gaps between each other and they're not really interfering with each other.
Yeah, that's well, this is not the greatest for guys like Speed Booster, because Speed Booster is right on the back of Eagle at this point. Eagle doesn't want to lose out, but Speed Booster wants to get on with it. So yeah, a bit of a difficult situation for some of these drivers. Eagle lost out on the RS, unfortunately. Speed Booster is going to come through very fast. But we have pole position coming in on Toffee. He's hunting him down. He's getting closer and closer. Going to get side by side into turn 1. Not close enough to get a clean overtake. Toffee is going to have a chance to retaliate, but he does make it stick through the outside. Pole position might have gotten a better exit. Now he's going to get to the RS. Toffee has none of that, and Speed Booster is going to claim the position from the Ferrari. The Mercedes is going to have to open up at some point, but this is surely very, very tough for the drivers around this pole position. Ooh, that could have been costly for the front wing of the Ferrari. I'm not sure if there was contact, but at least I don't see any end plates off. But yeah, bits of recklessness maybe from pole position. We understand that he needs to get the place and he doesn't want to lose to the ones he's racing with. But yeah, a bit aggressive there as Black Panther gets another penalty, Maku.
Yeah, but I think it wasn't too aggressive from him. It was just a little bit dangerous because it was obviously that Toffee would try to take the position if he opens up, and if he opens up that wide at this spot, you know, that's like a present for him. But yeah, he somehow managed to hold the place, and I think Toffee also didn't want it to crash in like the third last lap of the race.
Yeah, exactly. Well, in the meantime, we have Birkov, who just a couple laps ago was outside of the top 10. He might get a crack of P9. He's on newer softs against Weka that's on 20 lap old hards. So those are certainly getting to the end of their life. Oh, big lockup from Birkov there. That's not going to help his cause for sure. He's already out of the RS range again. And I think he probably just threw away maybe a bit of commentator's curse right there. But he just threw away his chances of P9 unless penalties come into play. Rupert has lost out a little bit to Iceman. The gap has been below 2 seconds. It's now exactly 2 seconds. Speed Booster is trying his hardest to close the gap. Don't think it's going to be enough. He's already on the 9th lap of that red marked soft. Hypnotized though has also gotten held up a little bit by Eagle as he's trying to also make his way up to the group that was dueling. Toffee lets Panther get through. I'm not sure if that's going to allow Hypnotize to get the RS, but surely Black Panther had no favors done to him by the Ferrari. Hypnotize is going to get the RS, he's going to take the slipstream, the Ferrari does not, so this is going to be an easy maneuver for Toffee, and I think Black Panther doesn't have the RS, so yeah, Black Panther doesn't have the RS. Hypnotize is going to gain majorly in these 2 DRS straights onto the Belgian driver of the Williams. He's on his 11th lap of the softs, but he might be able to take the fight to Black Panther, especially if the Williams doesn't get past pole position as quickly as he wanted. As Velocity gets a 3-second penalty, we are going to jump to the front. Iceman has been able to push and get closer to Mark, but I think that's just no point at the moment. Mark is still, at least I haven't seen any notification of a penalty for the Ferrari. Iceman, I don't know if he has penalties or not, but he is 1.5 seconds away. That's a bit too long, but there you have it. Mark, every time he shows up, he's getting himself some great performances. Got P3 at Russia. Unfortunately, I don't have the data for where they finished up in Japan, but I believe he also got a podium. But there you have it. Mark going to take his third win. He crosses over the line to take home the win of the Mexican Grand Prix. Beautiful job from him. Iceman is going to come in P2. Rupert in P3. Speed Booster with a brilliant job to come on P4. Hypnotize overtakes Black Panther in penalties. As Black Panther gets P6, pole position, Toffee and Eagle a lap down have already crossed the line in that order. Money is going to come home ahead of Mili, who has Weke right behind him. Birkov tried to do the best job he could to regain some of the time, but it's just too long. It's unless there are penalties to come into play. He's pushing his on mode 4 of ERS. He knows he screwed up. He knows he threw away his chances. Woohoo! That could have been the end of the race for him, as he at least had the reflexes to catch the slide there. Brilliantly done. Great reflexes by the Haas driver. Let's see. Million Money gets P7 and P8. P9 for Weke. Birkov jumps him, so he still gets P9. Weke closes the point swing positions. Emilio Sachs, after a disastrous first lap, still claims P11. Velocity is going to be the last driver to cross the line. Gets himself P12. So great race, great job from most of these drivers. And yeah, Maku, what do you have to say about that?
One very important thing. Emilio Sachs got his mediums up to 25 laps.
Yeah, exactly. And he didn't get a puncture. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's amazing.
But well, there you have it. Despite the great effort, didn't convert into any points for him or the Italian team. But looking at the other side, looking at another Italian team, that's celebrations back at Maranello and for the Tifosi as Mark gets himself the win of the Mexican Grand Prix. So not exactly his own Grand Prix. The flag has similar colors, but not exactly the Italian Grand Prix. I'm pretty sure he's still going to be satisfied with that one. So now I'm going to get drivers, going to get to the interviews. Just give us the rundown of the order of the grid.
Of the finishing grid,
Yeah.
So basically, we have Mark in Ferrari in first position, who wins this race. And then we have Iceman in second place, Rupert in third, Speed Booster in fourth, Hypnotize in fifth, Black Panther in sixth, Money in seventh. Then there's Mealy in eighth, Birkov in ninth, Weka in 10th, Emilio Sachs in 11th, Velocity in 12th, in 13th we have pole position, then Toffee in 14th, Eagle in 15th, 16th is South, and 17th is Felipe Nunes, and faster I can't read.
That's okay.
Yeah, I think that that was the 3 people who got disqualified. Yeah.
I'm going to have to take them to the voice. So yeah, so I'm going to invite them on Discord because I couldn't get them on Steam. So it's Iceman.
Mark?
I don't know. Yeah, it's Mark, but I don't know if Iceman is on. Yeah, I think they have different names on Discord. So we're going to have to wait for the end, perhaps, or that voice channel, because if I get in on Steam, I'm going to enter the chat of the.
I think we can make
the
a
other
new
drivers.
Wait one
I can't.
Oh.
Can you make
One
a new
sec.
one? Yeah.
Yeah, look, now you can join my...
Okay, yeah, now I can join. Okay, so
Mute yourself on Discord, else we will hear ourselves double.
Hi guys.
Hey
Mark.
hey
Hi.
guys.
Hello.
Okay, so Maku, I need you to mute me on Discord. But yeah, we have Mark here. We have trying to get Iceman. And who was the other? I forgot. Who got P3? I forgot. I forgot who got P3. Oh yeah, it was FX Rupert. Okay, so we have Iceman as well, so you're just waiting for Rupert to get in. Oh, he disconnected. But yeah, just waiting for them. Well, in the meantime, we are going to have to start. Oh, Rupert got in, so yeah. Hello, Rupert. How are you doing?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, now I
Yeah.
can.
Hi Rupert, well done. Nice race.
No, wasn't that
Okay.
great. Bad setup, to be honest.
Very, very hard.
Arms are aging.
Yeah, sorry, I was just talking to Iceman there. He doesn't have a microphone, so he won't be able to attend. But yeah, just getting ourselves first going to start with the third place finish, Rupert. So yeah, how do you feel? That was a very tricky qualifying session. What do you have to say about your performance?
Yeah, I was thinking, it was going up to towards the end. So I was thinking to go onto the slicks.
Mhm.
But my strategy was to go in the mediums because I knew that the softs would be difficult to bring through the end with a one stop. So I decided to go in the mediums, but yeah, my lap was really not great. So I ended up in 8th place, which was really yeah, it was really frustrating for me.
Mhm.
But yeah, I tried to make the best of it and yeah, I made 3 places up
Yeah.
in the first lap of the race. So
Yeah, exactly. That's
it
what.
was a good start. So yeah,
Yeah, that's
the
what I
rest
was
of the
going
race
to.
was
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. You got a good start, but then you got a bit lonely there, didn't you? Like towards the end,
yeah, it
things
was
got a bit lonely. And yeah, how hard was it to just manage the car? Did you have any issues with temperatures or the tires at any point?
I wasn't looking too much at the tire terms, but yeah, it was pretty boring, as you said. It was pretty lonely the whole time, and it was pretty much only managing also the pace of myself. It was really I had no one in front of me, no one behind. So yeah, I was
Yeah,
just fighting against myself pretty much, and pace wasn't that great. I tried to keep it consistent and slowly but steadily to close the gap to the front runners, but I just couldn't. Pace was really not good today. But
yeah,
yeah, at
yeah,
the end, I'm pretty happy to still get a podium, and yeah.
yeah, exactly. Well, it's all. That was
Wow.
my dinner. It's yeah, my dinner is on the floor now. Thank you very much, Ruben. Okay, so I'm gonna have to take care of that later. But yeah, sorry about that. Well, congrats on the podium nonetheless. Of course, considering you started from P8, that always great
Yeah.
to get some positions gained at the end, and you got a podium. So congrats for
That's
that.
true.
P2, Iceman unfortunately can't join us because he doesn't have a microphone, so we're going to skip right to the winner. And Mark, how surprising was that to have the disconnected Felipe right in front of you at the end?
I was very, very surprised about that because Nunez was very, very fast, and I can just say congratulations to him because he is the real winner of this race. But this is Steam, this is the games online. Bad luck for him.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you knew that throughout the race, but in penalties, you were going to beat him anyways. He had 12 seconds, so it was at the end you were still going to win if you just kept it clean. It just uh, adds the disconnection and then rejoining. I guess he just had an issue with his pedals or something, and it was just full throttle as he got back into control of the car and put it in a wall. Unfortunately for him, well,
I saw on my mirrors.
yeah, that's Iceman also almost got collected by that one. Unfortunately, was able to get cleanly through that. And then I guess that's just another win for one. That's the third one. Not many people win. So to get
it's
3
my
wins in a season, especially considering you don't show up for many races, at least according to the data I have. Considering you are not able to attend every single race, that's amazing to get these many races. So good job on that.
Thanks, guys. The reason because is first, sorry for my English because it's very bad.
Don't worry, I understood everything. I understood everything.
And I have to say congratulations to Emilio and all the ORL because this is my first experience here, and I just say congratulations. Very fair players and bravi ragazzi.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much as well. So this is it.
About
what?
The race, I was surprised.
Oh,
I was the only without penalties, but I did not a very good pace, but I was looking about penalties at the end because Iceman was closing to me, and I don't need 3 second or 6 second penalty at the end. And this is the reason because maybe I don't push at the limit at the last laps.
Yeah, it is indeed very easy to go over the limits when you are pushing, and of course, if you are,
here.
yeah, exactly. If you are pushing, that there's more likely to be mistakes because you are closer to your limit. But once again, thank you for your words and congrats on the win. As this is it for today. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, give us a like button. If you did not, the dislike button is, as always, right beside it. Subscribe if you'd like to see more, not only for Tier 1 and Tier 2. And of course, hit the bell for any notifications of whenever we are about to start a live stream or to post any sort of videos. Hope to see you guys next time around next week as we add to the Lone Star State, to the state of Austin and the city of Texas, to the circuit of the Americas and the USA Grand Prix. Hope to see you guys next time and have a wonderful day. Goodbye.